Hi, I'm Mayor Al Bolas, City of New Franklin. Welcome to our video council meetings. You can get copies of this meeting at our City Hall or just call 330-882-4324.
Hey, all right. We are going to get underway in our committee meetings this evening. We have 4 first readings tonight, no second, third, or pending. Starting off, we have Thomas Queen here. He's with Jim Renacci, our 16th district representative. He's going to talk to us for a few minutes. Thomas? Yeah. Yeah, yep, we're good.
My name is Thomas Queen. It's my privilege to be here on behalf of Congressman Jim Renacci. The Congressman has visited these chambers on several occasions over the last 3 years. He's in the middle of his 3rd term, as you probably know. And he makes it a point that our staff should reach...
You're right by her seat.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. He makes it a point that our staff should reach out to every single municipality, township, city within the entire 16th district, and certainly we want to do that to remind people about what our constituent services are. We hear if not every day, certainly every week from the constituents of New Franklin who call our office with concerns with the federal government. And so they certainly find us, but we'd like to remind more that we're there. I'd like to, if possible, just read an open letter from the Congressman to the Council. An open letter to the constituents of the 16th District of Ohio. Hello, my name is Jim Renacci, and it is my honor and privilege to greet you as your Congressman. As your voice in Congress, my first priority is to be available to you. Feel free to call either my Ohio office located in Wadsworth or my office in Washington, D.C. anytime if there is something you would like to share with me. Your thoughts and opinions matter to me. Likewise, your struggles and your challenges matter to me as well. If I can help, let me know. My Wadsworth office specializes in assisting constituents in a wide variety of ways. For instance, my staff is able to assist you with veterans issues and benefit claims, as well as active duty military issues. About a third of the people who call our office are calling about VA affairs or active military. And a lot of young people who come back from Afghanistan and Iraq, young men and women, and Vietnam and Korean veterans still call our office asking for services. So if anybody, you know of any veterans that have any concerns, health issues or other, please let them know. We can certainly try to help. The other Social Security and Medicare issues, about half the issues we hear from are Social Security and Medicare, and I don't know of anybody who sooner or later is going to be concerned about either one of those. Tax issues with the Internal Revenue Service, we've helped many, many businesses who've gotten into tax issues with the IRS, small businesses and large, who have contacted us and asked us to help with them to deal with the IRS. Of all the agencies we deal with, by far and away, the most difficult is the IRS. And we can certainly do that. And passport applications, problems with any other federal agencies. Anyone's individual case has to stand on its own merits, but none of your citizens of New Franklin need to be bandied about on 800 number lines or treated slowly or disrespectfully. If they contact our office, we in turn will send a letter to that agency, and by law they must respond to us in a quick and proper and complete manner as to what the status of this person's case is. Again, it depends on the merits of their case, but when they receive a letter from a congressman, it goes from the bottom of the pile to the top of the pile, and it gets immediate attention. So I just want to let you know that if any of your constituents have any issues with any agency in the federal government, please let us know. We'd be glad to help. On the city level, the congressman has written letters of support for SAFER grants. He's written letters of support for COP or COP grants. He's actively right now promoting an infrastructure bill to try and get a lot more money back to cities, counties, townships for road building and for road maintenance and so forth. That's kind of a long-term project. But in the short term, if the city has any grants that they're pursuing, federal grants or anything in that regard that you think that our office can help you with, please let us know, and we'll certainly write letters of support. We're also able to assist anybody who's going to just make a trip to Washington, D.C. We can arrange any passes to the Capitol or to anywhere else in Washington you'd like to visit. We can also order a U.S. flag which is flown over the U.S. Capitol. We do that on a frequent basis. In a word, the Congressman says, please consider my office a one-stop resource for you, the taxpayer, and a constituent of the 16th District. My office can be reached by phone at 330-334-0040, and also at the Washington office. Sincerely, Congressman Jim Renacci, Member of Congress. I work for Jim Renacci, obviously, but I also work for you. And if any of you have any concerns, or any of your constituents in the city have any concerns regarding the federal government, or in fact with the state, we can certainly make an inquiry there too. So please let us know if we can help you, and we've had some remarkable success, but again, it always stands on the merits of the case, but we've been able to help a lot of people, and we'd like to help those people in New Franklin. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
We should have invited him with the oil pipeline nights. Have you been contacted about that?
Oh, certainly, yeah, we've been.
And we really, I would
Congressman has
say,
taken no official public position on that yet. He has met with Corn, and is fully appraised of, the entire Corn side of the position. He's also informally spoken to numerous public officials throughout the whole route. Because obviously his district covers multiple counties. He hasn't taken an official public position, and but he's in a listen and learn. But anything you'd like to send to him, please do so.
and we figured you probably have a lot of calls and.
We've gotten a few, and it's personally, and I'm just speaking for Tom Queen now. I'm not up to the status of it to this day, but I did read an article in Big Journal about 3 weeks ago that the city of Greene and one of the industry spokesmen were beginning to move a little bit closer in regard to moving things around. Is that your current understanding? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just a question.
Yes.
There's a Renacci office in Wadsworth.
Yes, that's what
I've used that more than one time. Dobo.
Yes, David Dobo. He handles a lot of.
I know what he's for, but I'm just saying I've used it more than one time,
Yeah.
and he's helped me immensely.
Well, thank you very much. That's where I'm located. We have a Wadsworth office, which is in the geographic center of the district, and then we also have a satellite office in Parma. And we have some people that have been involved, that worked for Congressman Regular for 14, 15, 16 years before they came to work for Congressman Renacci. So there's a deep knowledge of how government works and many contacts within the agency. So we hit the ground running, and we can be very effective. So we thank you for your time.
Thank you for providing this. This is very nice.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Thank you. The United States taxpayers paid for it.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll leave a few extras, should anybody.
Oh, I'd appreciate
Okay.
it. We'll put them out at our
All right.
office.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, everyone, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. All righty. Get into our business at hand this evening.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
For piece of legislation this evening, we're going to start out in the Finance Committee. Paul?
Call finance to order at 6:08. All members are present. And we've got 4 pieces of legislation. 15R52, resolution designating Chase Bank as depository bank for New Franklin for a 5-year period retro to January 1st of 2015. We played musical banks there for a while, but we've been back at Chase now since January 1st of 2015, or a couple
No,
years before that?
we actually never left Chase altogether. We just added First Merit on as another bank.
Okay. All right, and we dismissed this, basically, right? In terms of re-upping at the beginning of the year? As to why it's retroactive?
I'm not sure about that. I have the science and, let's see. We just received this this summer and they only sent it to us this summer, so why they sent it for January 1st, 2015 in the summertime, I have no,
You said
after
the
the
bank
fact.
sent it, or
The
the-
bank, yeah, requesting that we sign again. So, yeah, we got it after the fact.
Right, and we're not bound in any way, right? We can
No, it's
terminate it anytime we
just
want to.
an
This way we don't
agreement
have
with
to
them
do it.
as one of our depositories.
Right. Any questions? I would be looking to waive the 3 readings on that one.
I think it is too.
15R53, authorizing New Franklin to enter into agreements with J.P. Farley and Sig as the third-party administrator, excess reinsurance, stop-loss carrier, Cigna Health self-insurance plan. All right, let me see. We have a deadline on this one? Is it October 1st? All right, we've had plenty of discussions. We've had, Becky Randall's been in here a couple times to talk about it. We've really, I think probably more closely than ever have considered an alternative based upon some of our prior experiences or our most recent experiences in terms of checks and balances. And I guess I would say that it seems the last recommendation we got from Becky was to stay where we are. We can always opt out. I think we had some discussion about trying to look a little closer at it as we go forward through the rest of this year. But in the meantime, we adopt this. We're not bound for any period of time. We could always amend. I think part of it's going to, if we decide to change our approach, there's going to be some education with the employees as to what to expect and the possibility of, of some tug of wars with these people relative to coverage that, they may not immediately pay, and there might be some stress related to that. We did get the impression that eventually they always would pay, and that none of it would fall on the employees was one of the last thing I asked Becky, that ultimately if somebody was going to eat it, it would be the city anyway. So it looks like it's something that we're going to have to pay. We're really going to have to consider the other option as we move forward. But for now, to keep this in place, we would need, I think, to pass this tonight. Am I correct? Yes. All right. Any questions?
I think we decided it was just so much to have such a big change with such little time, but that we would allow anybody that wants to review and provide input and perhaps a proposal. They're welcome, and we'll shoot for that down the road.
All right, and it may be something that either finance or that we look at, and that we take a good hard look at it, maybe when we get around the first of the year.
Mr. Adamson?
Yes.
I think it's always a problem with these new vendors coming in. They don't really understand the union contracts we have. And I know as part of the agreements that we're supposed to get together like once a year or something like that in a committee.
Right.
Or like a safety committee to discuss these situations, and it's just hard to go do anything different. And like you said, it's like a tug of war trying to go ahead and get in there. I just want to go ahead and mention that.
All right, well, I'll be looking to waive the 3 reading rule on that one as well. We have 15R54 to accept a grant, firefighters grant. Man, the city would have to pay $7,000. I don't know. Did you come to speak to that perhaps?
If you have any questions, I'll certainly
Why
try
don't you
to.
talk about it? This is a fabulous grant.
We've been very blessed.
I'll let you do the
Basically-
announcement. I didn't even put the amount, so why don't you talk to
Okay.
them about it?
Basically, for a little over $140,000 from the government for the Assistance to Firefighters Grant, we have to spend $7,000 to match that. What that allows us to do is all in one move, replace and update every one of our self-contained breathing apparatuses, which we had in our, started to plan ahead in our 5-year plan. Starting next year, we were going to replace 9 bottles at a time to the tune of $10,000, which doesn't even begin to touch the harnesses and all the mechanics and everything. With this here, with the $7,000 commitment from us, they'll match it with the $140,000, which automatically takes away one major cost that we are looking at that we would have to try to cover over many years to get this taken care of. It would take us a long time.
And what went into, who did the legwork on this grant? Anybody get extra credit?
Actually, I'll tell you, we are very fortunate. Lieutenant Matheny, he takes care of all of our grants, and he has really done an amazing job. We have been very blessed. We've got fire trucks. I mean, if you were to go on a tour over there, he would take great joy and take you and point to everything that we've been able to do via grants.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, a small department like us, limited funds, we would not be able to do nearly the things that we've been able to do to keep current, up with technology and provide the great service that we do, So it's really been
Beautiful.
it's been a good thing.
It comes up with something every year.
Yeah, I mean,
This is a monster
literally,
here. This is,
every year, we have been fortunate enough to get some type of grant, and sometimes just amazing amount. I mean, it's just like this,
$140,000.
This would take us years and years and years to do. It just allows us to buy more time, to put it to other places, to take care of other things. It's
How old are the current units?
a little over 10 years old.
That's about their life expectancy?
Hmm?
That's about their life expectancy?
Yeah,
Give or take
in the
a
fire
little
service, there's a lot of
Yeah.
expiration on a lot of different
Yeah.
things, and you fall out of compliance. Obviously, the first thing they start with are the bottles. You can only have those tested so many times. Well, we're done testing, so now you have to replace them to the tune of a little better than $1,000 a bottle. It just becomes mine. So we would have started with bottles, buying 9 at a time. As this is, we're getting 22 packs, 22 spare bottles, 3 retrofits for our rapid intervention teams, and face masks for I mean, it's huge for us. It's absolutely a big deal. We're very happy.
well, I'm gonna stick my neck out and say that we probably ought to go ahead and authorize the
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get that 140,000. So I'll be looking to waive the 3 readings on that one as well.
Thank you. Appreciate
Great
that.
work, please pass it along.
I certainly will.
I much
I
more
will.
appreciate the effort.
Absolutely.
Okay, 15R55. This is a resolution expressing an intent to eliminate the 1981 2.5 mil police levy if the New Franklin voters approve the 1% income tax. We had a presentation on that last week. I don't know if we're already at a consensus, or is this how council feels as we'll talk about it and eventually get around to whether or not this is something we want to address tonight, or do we want to go to another reading on it for any reason? What's everybody think?
I mean, I don't have any problem passing it tonight. This is just when and if this is not the final,
That's
this
correct.
does not eliminate anything. This is just saying we will.
Yeah, give you a little background on this because the request was legislation to eliminate it. I've done some research on that and looked at some other pieces of legislation in other communities that have done that. I started with Greene, only because I'm familiar with that because I lived there. Greene back in 2003 raised their income tax 1%. And in exchange for that, they let a renewal levy expire. Now, Greene included that language in their resolution putting it on the ballot. So the resolution putting it on the ballot said, we're raise it to 1%. If it's raised to 1%, this renewal levy will be eliminated, which happened. It was voted in and the renewal levy was never renewed. So that's not our situation here, since we've got a continuing levy. Mike mentioned Brunswick. I got a hold of Brunswick legislation. Theirs was back in 1989. They increased their income tax by 0.35%. It was specifically for fire operations. And they too included the language in their enabling legislation, the legislation to put it on the ballot to eliminate that levy that was existing. What was interesting about this is they put it on their ballot. I mean, their ballot language says, this passes, the other one goes away. We're too late for that because the ballot language is already in. But so again, that didn't really fit our circumstances. I then looked at London, which is another one that Mike mentioned. I called down there and dug up these resolutions. They put their income tax on, and again, it's 0.5% for general operating expenses and capital improvements of the fire department. So it was, again, a specific, little more specific than what we have, because ours is just a general increase. They didn't include the elimination of the property tax levy at the same time they did that. So it was a little similar to our circumstances. They did pass a resolution a little bit later. I wasn't real crazy about the language and the way they did it, but that's the way they did it. So I dug that up and looked at that. That went back to 2012, I think that was, 2012, and then that was done. So in the meantime, I did contact Jack LaMonica, who is Kristen Scalise's chief deputy, and talked to Jack about this to see what knowledge, if anything, he might have, or the fiscal office had of other communities in Summit County that may have done this. We kind of kicked it around, had some conversations with Gina Van Voris. I don't know if either of you know Gina. I went to law school with her, used to law clerk with her. She does work for the fiscal office as well. We talked it over, just a little reluctant to put something on that says it's gone if the income tax passes. So I came up with this, what you've got in front of you. I think that's sufficient. It should be, it's an intent. I think it's binding. I mean, if the income tax increase passes and you choose not to eliminate the fire or the police levy for whatever reason, I think somebody'd have a pretty good case against you, against the city. So I think it's pretty binding, but it doesn't take that step and saying it's gone. We did, after doing that, I talked to Jack again, and we found one in Norton, and Norton did something similar, although theirs was a little bit different because they put on a new property tax levy for their fire. I think it was a fire. Yes, it was fire. And in exchange for that, they were going to take off an old fire levy. So it was, I'm not really sure, we always wonder what Norton's doing over there.
Property tax for property tax.
Yeah, the property tax for they put a new property tax on, and we're getting rid of an old property tax. Why they just didn't do a replacement, I don't really know, but it's Norton. So that really didn't fit our situation either. Well, it is Norton, I'm sorry. So that's what I came up with. I think it's sufficient. Research the Ohio Revised Code. There is a section in here that says when you want to get rid of that levy, it's just a resolution from council. So I'm going to keep working on that language. I'll try to have that introduced to you before the election. I'm probably going to advise you not to take any action on it until the election's over, but we're going to have that one meeting after the election where you can take that action on that, where it won't be an emergency clause, so it will get rid of that police levy if the income tax passes. So that's the background of the
And but
research that was
the
done.
year, it will not be in effect.
It's because as all of you know, property owners' property taxes are a year behind. It's still going to be collected next year. The 2015 assessment will be collected next year, but then it would be off
Beginning 2016.
16. So that's what you've got there, and I think that should serve the purpose that Mike asked for and the mayor asked for, and
We hear a lot of good things on this since we've brought it up. Maybe some of the businesses.
Oh,
Yes,
Matt,
please.
you said Green and Brunswick,
Brunswick.
they had language on their ballot that said.
Well, Brunswick had the language on the ballot.
What about
Green and
Green?
Brunswick had the language in their
Right.
enabling resolution. Green didn't have it in the ballot, but they had when I say the enabling legislation, the legislation saying, put this 1% increase on the ballot. And in exchange for putting this 1% increase on the ballot, if it passes, we're gonna let this levy expire. They had that in their initial resolution.
Their ballot language didn't have that.
Their ballot language did not
Brunswick's
have it.
ballot language had it.
Brunswick
Did
language,
Green's pass?
yes,
Did Brunswick's pass?
yes.
When they included the specific language that I think pertained both to fire would get so much of that, it was for capital improvements for fire?
Green was not. Green was a
Okay.
general one. They let their renewal, their 5-year fire levy renewal, because it was renewed every 5 years, they just let that one expire. That's where green's in a little different category, because they're just letting one expire as opposed to affirmatively getting rid of it.
Okay. Did London, did it pass? That was, you said similar to us.
It passed, yes.
And
The
we're-
1%, and theirs was a 0.5% increase for the purpose of funding the fire department.
And then North.
Brunswick's was the same. Brunswick was
Fire.
specifically for fire, yes.
Did Norton's pass?
Yes.
And you want to take action after the election, why?
Why?
Yeah, why wouldn't we, if it says if it passes, why does it have to wait?
Because we didn't have it in our enabling legislation in the initial one, and I'm just a little concerned about that.
Because I like the language, a resolution to eliminate the 1981 2.5 mil continuous police levy if New Franklin voters, and eliminate the language expressing an intent, because we do want him to do it.
We're gonna pass this tonight, and we're gonna address this tonight.
Right.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I think that expressing an intent looks wishy-washy, and it doesn't look like it's a commitment, and we do have that commitment, I do think it's binding, and when you said those words, then I thought, I just, when I read this, those 3 words caught me, and I know you've done a lot of research, and I appreciate it, and your time, but it was just, when I read it, I thought, well, it looks like we want to, and I
But
just.
see, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's very clear that council is saying, we're gonna eliminate this if that passes.
Well, then
But
can't
you
you
have,
just say
you're
a
gonna have another,
resolution
you're
to
gonna have another
eliminate?
piece of legislation.
Can't you just say resolution to eliminate if? I mean, it'd be the same thing.
Now, no, I'm not recommending that now,
Okay.
no, because there's too many, there's too many unknown variables there. If you pass that legislation and say it's gonna be eliminated if,
Right,
and then the income tax doesn't pass, and then somebody comes and says, well, wait a minute, you already voted to eliminate this.
If.
I know it's saying if,
Right.
but that opens it to question and
Mhm.
interpretation. And I mean, I'll certainly do that if you all
that just
want
was my
that.
thought. Okay, that's all I got.
May I say something? I agree with you completely. When I read it too, I thought it was kind of wishy-washy. It kind of, to me, it kind of sounded like, well, unless we think of a reason not to, you know. We plan on it, but maybe we won't. I kind of felt the same way with the intent.
I think it says, New Franklin Council shall take all steps required by the Ohio Revised Code to eliminate the continuous police levy when the income tax increase is approved by New Franklin voters at the November 3rd, 2015 election. Shall, to me, is a pretty strong word. You shall do it.
That's in the actual.
Right, I know, I just was reading the heading, that's all.
So I mean, if everybody else on council wants to eliminate it now, I'll do the resolution for next meeting and you can vote to eliminate it, but if something goes wrong with it, I'm
I don't
giving you
know.
my main.
Yeah, I don't know if I would vote to eliminate it,
I-
but I like passing this, I don't have a problem with this. This doesn't bother me, but I would also like to have the other resolution on time before the election.
Oh, yeah, it will be.
Just
We're
so
working
we
on
have
the
it
language.
sitting on time. That way it is present pending certification of the election. I mean, you gotta wait till
Right,
after that
exactly.
November 4th.
Yeah.
If it will be a close ballot, you can't pass it that Wednesday after Tuesday. Just for the simple fact it hasn't been certified yet.
That's correct.
So we have to wait till
After search,
the
sure.
third, our third Wednesday.
Sure.
Yes.
Which is fine.
No, my hope is to have that to you by the second meeting in
Yeah,
October,
which
so
would
you
be
have
fine.
3
Yeah,
readings
yeah,
on
okay.
it in
I
order
have
to
no problem with
then pass it.
Okay.
And Andrew, you weren't talking about eliminating it now, you were talking about the language being, rather than talking about this, almost like it shall eliminate if it passes.
I just wanted to take out the language
Yeah.
express intent. I think that is prevarication. It just seems to me like it's not being.
A lie?
Not,
That's
well,
what
it-
prevarication means.
I
It's a
know,
lie.
like we may or may not, like it's
I don't
not
think it
being.
says that at all, Ms.
Well,
Morris.
again,
I
I'm sorry,
understand.
I knew it was gonna be a problem saying something, but that's my opinion.
Well, it's okay, but I think it says shall take all steps necessary.
But I think also having the other legislation that says we are gonna do it, reading it 3 times before that, I think that's the one.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
Right.
I mean, we're gonna pass this
Before the election,
tonight,
For sure.
Right,
and
And
then
then
when the second
day after the
meeting
election,
in October, we're gonna have
and
one
then
that
third will
says
pass.
we
Yeah.
will take it off.
yeah, I know,
Oh,
it's
maybe
a bad
One way
way.
also to
I
address it,
understand, no, I
because
understand what you're saying.
I think there's some value to moving on this tonight, just to
Yes.
reaffirm, for the voters, what the intention of council appears to be. Is there anyone on council who, if this passes tonight, is there, first of all, anybody opposed to proceeding to a vote on this tonight? No, okay. And then if it passes tonight, does anybody on council feel that, as you sit here today, that there'd be a chance that, well, if that income tax passes, I might change my mind and not eliminate this? Is there anybody on council who feels that might happen? Okay. All right, well, we'll look to wait.
Like it
Yeah,
says,
I think it's binding.
In
I think
section
it's binding
one.
on council.
In section 1, just like Tom says, the new Franklin
Okay.
Council shall take all steps required. I mean, it's, the first part reading it is,
This was a
I
lot of
make
work.
some motions about that, but I don't think after we pass this and we're gonna have the actual legislation that we're gonna be talking about and reading before the election, that is pretty much gonna let people know that if that passes, we will take it off, so.
This was a lot of work and a lot of research.
But it says we shall.
All right, any further business for finance?
I just see this.
I will adjourn finance at 6:31.
Thank you, Paul. Okay. Yeah, that's all we have.
This is the best thing.
Legislation. Do we, anybody have anything? I don't know, Harry, did you see the list of, things Jeff wants to sell?
Some lawnmowers.
Is it just in my box? I did not go back and I got my
Yeah.
Sunday. so.
I'll get her up there. There it is. I'll just bring this up. Yep. Jeff, in the service department, this is gonna be an internet auction. Items to be sold: a 1996 F-350 dump truck with plow, a 99 F-250 pickup truck with plow, a 2001 John Deere M655 Z-Track lawnmower, and an 84 John Deere 314 lawn tractor with a 39-inch mower deck. So they'll be on that, what's that website? Whatever that auction site?
.gov.
Yeah, okay. .gov, so, anyhow, I'll just throw that out there. Get that out there. All righty. Nothing else for committee? I don't see any reason why we just can't keep this going this evening. All right, I'd like to call to order the City of New Franklin Council meeting this Wednesday, September 16, 2015, at 6:32. Thank you. All stand for the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Present.
President, yes, I'm going right behind you.
And I did present for the first time ever. That's in honor of Judy.
Yeah.
Usually I'm just here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually
We'll
just
tell her
here.
about it.
Mr. Dean?
Here.
Mr. Claudius?
Here.
Ms. Norris?
Here.
And Mr. Stock?
Apparently I was here, but not really present.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular scheduled meeting of September 2nd.
Second?
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Claudius?
Abstain.
Ms. Norris?
Yes. I didn't think was I here.
That's the right answer.
Mr. Stock?
Was I
Yes.
here?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
All right, passes 5-0 with one abstain. All right, moving into public comment. Please keep your comments addressed to council.
Approval.
Oh, I'm sorry, approval. I'd like to make a motion to approve the financials for August 2015.
Second.
To audit. First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Claudius? Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
And Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
That's a 6-0. Now we'll move into public comment. Anybody have anything for us this evening? All right.
Good.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, sir.
And Ron Hodges. And I was concerned about the septic system issue, and
I don't know if this is the proper time to address this or at the time at the end of the meeting for the comments.
Now's the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Now's the time.
Now's the time, go ahead.
I got more than 4 minutes? Like the insurance lady? Okay. What I was concerned about is probably primarily is the cost of the septic system overseen by the county. I understand the fees are gonna be something like $10, $20, or $30 a year for the grid to operate the systems. And that's kind of become quite a chunk of change, considering there's about 33,000 septic systems in Summit County. And if you take $20 a fee for a year, that comes out to about $600,000 a year. 2 years, over $1 million. And that's quite a bit of money to be putting into oversee. And they talk about the quality of the septic system. And the truth of the matter is that no matter how good your septic system is, it's still not going to filter out all the biological material, the pharmaceuticals and illicit drugs and things that are dumped into the septic tanks. Even the city septic sanitation department's systems can't remove all that. They're not built to do that. And can I use part of the table? I didn't pay my union dues. There's an article out of the Chemical and Engineering News that was of significance. It's called the Septic System Forensics.
Show them, tell them, talk to them.
Oh, okay, well, you're in this too.
Yeah, I know.
And I made some copies here I'd like to pass out if I could. I'll give you one over here. This has to do with the U.S. hydraulic, what was the name of it? Hydraulics geological survey.
If you want, I'll just pass them down.
And the efficiency.
We'll pass them down.
Of the system.
Okay.
No, you won't.
I don't have too many copies here.
Well, you know what, Dustin and I'll share.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll share.
All about peas.
All right, okay, and if anybody else who would be, you interested?
Here we go.
Anybody in the audience interested in the septic system?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
You, sir?
No, it's all right.
Okay, well, that's one now, the rest, let's see, anybody else interested?
I'll share with
You
you.
share this? Sure. All right. At large.
Yes.
So the
I can
frustration,
ask you just one quick question. You were here last week when she was here, right? You were here, right?
no, I missed the September 2nd. meeting.
That's when it was,
Yeah,
there was a lot of good information at that one.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But the fact of the matter is that county wants to do a quality control check. And that's going to be adding personnel to their operation. And but you need to know what you're going to look for in quality control. The idea of quality control is to purify the environment and to do this effectively. But you need to know what they're testing for, and you need to know how effective it is if they're going to be finding what they're looking for. And
You know, they were mandated by the state, you know
I'm
that.
sorry?
They're mandated by the state to do these
Okay.
inspections. So this is not just local or regional, it's statewide.
But do they have a program to test with runoff that's coming out of the septic systems?
I don't know what kind of program, I'm sure they do though.
And that's.
And I
that'd be
think,
interesting.
I believe it's every other year that you get charged the $20.
Yeah, it's that's for 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Well, it's every 2 years?
Yeah, and that does pay for the cost of them coming out. I know it's kind of slow in the health department, but
Yeah. But this is another
it's hard for them to enforce anything, we've tried.
You know? Okay, but I think that article covers a lot of what I had to say.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks for being here.
Yep, thank you. Like I said, like we talked last, our hands are tied, we have no say, anything that goes on with the health department. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, whether we're for it or not, so. There's nothing we can do, we're in the same boat as everybody else out here, so.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right. Okay, we have first readings tonight. We'll get started with resolution 15-R-52.
Sponsor Mayor Bolus, a resolution designating Chase Bank as a depository bank for the city of New Franklin for a 5-year period retro to January 1st, 2015, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This is a resolution that's affirming the status quo. We presently use Chase, and this just authorizes us to continue to do so. It doesn't require us to do that. I would move that we waive the 3 reading requirement for 15-R-52.
Second.
First and second, waive, roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Claudius? Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
And Mr. Addison?
Yes. And I move we approve resolution 15-R-52.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Claudius?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
And Mr. Addison?
Yes.
All right, passes 6-0. Moving to resolution 15-R-53.
Sponsor Mayor Bolus, a resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into agreements with J.P. Farley as third-party administrator, excess reinsurance as stop-loss carrier, and Cigna Health Network for the New Franklin self-insurance plan, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This was assigned to finance. We've been talking for more than a month about this re-enrollment essentially, and the decision was, consensus was to continue as we have right now, but likewise to more vigorously consider some other options as well, and perhaps begin to talk to the unions about how changes in this might impact not necessarily the benefits, but the administration of those benefits. So in any event, I'm going to move, because we're looking at the October 1st deadline, I'll move to waive the 3 reading requirement for 15-R-53.
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Claudius?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Addison?
Yes.
And Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Okay, passes 6-0.
Make a motion that we approve resolution 15-R-53.
Second.
First and second, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Addison?
Yes.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
And Mr. Claudius?
Yes. All right, passes 6-0. Moving to resolution 15-R-54.
Sponsor Mayor Bolus, a resolution to accept a grant under the fiscal year 2014 Assistance to Firefighters Grant, and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
Signed to finance, and we are celebrating the award of a $140,786 grant to the fire department for 25 self-contained breathing apparatus units. New Franklin's portion is $7,000 of this $147,000 bill. So before they change their mind, I'm going to move that we waive the 3 readings on 15-R-54.
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Claudius?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Addison?
Yes.
And Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
And I move that we approve resolution 15-R-54.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Claudius?
Yep.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
And Mr. Addison?
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Moving to resolution 15-R-55.
Sponsor Mayor Bolus, a resolution expressing an intent to eliminate the 1981 2.5 mil continuous police levy if New Franklin voters approve the 1% income tax increase on the November 2015 ballot and declaring that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage.
This was also assigned to finance. We had some discussion. There were a few insensitive critiques, I thought. But in any event, we do want to, I think, affirm council's clear intention to eliminate the police levy that's mentioned here in the event that the income tax passes. And I would move that we waive the 3 readings on 15R55.
Second.
First and second, roll call, please.
Did you notice there's a typo in that the word eliminate is spelled wrong?
I did not
So I
notice
said
that.
Oh, no, we were going to eliminate it.
That's,
All right,
I will fix that.
all right, all right. So we got a motion and a second to waive the
Mr.
3
Dean?
readings?
yes.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
Mr. Adamson?
Yes.
And Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
And I move that we approve resolution 15R55 with the typo corrected. Everyone is a critic.
Any further discussion? I'd just like to thank Tom, you did good research on that, appreciate that.
I just want to say, just as it shall be effective immediately, we shall remove it.
And I will reiterate
Very good.
that it's binding. This
Thank
is
you.
binding on New Franklin Council unless there's 7 new people after the end of the election.
That ain't gonna happen.
I wouldn't think so.
Hey,
All right. Anybody else, any discussion on that? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hargit?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mr. Clausen? Ms. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Stock?
Yes.
And Mr. Adamson?
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Takes care of our legislation for this evening. No second, no third, no pending. Going to the mayor's report.
Yes, thanks. Notice was given on September 11th that the City Civil Service Commission will conduct an open exam for establishing an eligibility list for the position of police officer. The exam will be on October 26th at 6 p.m. Applications are available online and here at the City Hall. Completed applications and documentation must be received no later than Friday, September 25th at 4 o'clock. And I gave the press the attachment. Just a couple announcements here. Community Photo Days, preserving Portage Lake's history, 1 photograph at a time, is going to be on Friday, September 25th from 1 to 4 at our local library. And also on Saturday, September 26th from 10 to noon. So if you have any interesting old photos just sitting in your attics, basements, and family photo albums, don't let those photos be lost forever. Let us preserve a digital copy and share your treasure with the public. It's really cool if you haven't been to one of those. Okay. Mention a blood drive for Manchester High School on Wednesday, October 7th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That'll be at the Manchester High School Library. Blood drive for them. And did you receive the letter about the dueling pianos? From asking for donations for the battered women's shelter. They're hosting this fundraiser on Saturday, September 26th at 6 p.m. at the Cedars. Metro Parks, if you didn't know, they now own the 110 acres that Metropolitan Land was going to give the city. We were going to go ahead and take that over, and we really like the Metro Parks is doing that from my office, and we know they're going to take care of it real well. And they also got the 65 acres south of that in Stark County. So I think they're just going to leave it as a land bank right now. It's all mostly wetlands back down in there, but I know it's going to be maintained that way. I mean, nobody's going to be able to build on it forever, so.
Is that a done deal? Have they acquired that already?
Yes.
No, that's good.
It was coming to the city and we assigned that to the Metro Parks. The Metro Parks agreed to take
Yeah,
it
one of the
over.
things I remember about that, and I sort of want to keep it in everybody's memory bank if I'm accurate in my memory is that there was some thought that might be a water source at some point in the future. I don't know if you remember that, but,
Yeah, and it still could be.
yeah. And so as long as it's preserved that way, it still
Yeah.
exists, yeah.
I also want to announce that the Manchester PTA have selected Trick or Treat for Saturday, October 31st, from 6 to 8 p.m. We gotta let the people know this early, okay? Push to the end of October already.
Yeah.
You know, we're so big here with 27 square miles, we have to come up with 4 or 5 different schedules so the police can be scattered around different times. We're looking for contributions for the Friends of New Franklin Safety for the campaign that we're gonna get started here. We have some coming in already, and this is for the, for the 2.5 mil levy that we'd like to go ahead and remove. And we're gonna explain that with a letter, and Mike's here, and want to thank Mike and Robert back there for being on this committee, and Harry and Dave Stock too, and Terry. Because I think it really means a lot. It's gonna balance things out a lot. And can't rely on property taxes. We have to try to balance it out a lot better. Also, going back to looking for any donations for the Tudor House Christmas decorations that they're planning on doing. And that's all I have right now. Thank you very much. Might be able to get everybody set.
Please.
The August balance is $3,063,076.80, and that's all I have.
Okay, old business.
I do, Mr. Stuff. The new income tax ordinance will be coming to you at the next meeting. The attachment to the ordinance, I have some final editing to do yet in the next couple weeks, but it's gonna be over 50 pages. So I didn't know if any of you want an electronic version of that, or whether you want a hard copy.
I can do electronic.
Electronic? Electronic?
I think you need one copy. You want a copy?
Well, it's Kathy's the one that's gonna have to copy it, so I'm just,
Can you two-sided, make it 25 pages?
no, I think.
Well, I
don't-
usually do front and backs.
Yeah. But if you'll take electronic copies, that's gonna save some trees and save some paper, so.
Can you
Okay.
explain a little bit what that all is? Just kind of let people know how House Bill 5 played into that?
Well, yeah, it's House Bill 5 that the state passed, we've talked about this.
Okay.
They've made a lot of changes to the way that income tax will be levied in communities. The idea was to make it uniform across the state so that ABC business that's doing business in Columbus would pay the same kind of municipal income taxes in Columbus that they would pay in Cleveland if they do business there too, using the 2 bigger cities. Although, and one of the things that was going to happen in House Bill 5 was taking the collection of municipal income taxes to the state, but that fortunately did not survive, and that's not going to be done. But it's also not uniform across the state either. There's some areas where council is going to have some choices. I'm going to try my best to leave those language in there, or at least point that out to you at the next meeting, so that you will, as you read it, you'll know what we're looking at. We had to put some of our own language in there. We had to put the credit for taxes in there. So it's a pretty complex document. It's all a matter of timing for New Franklin too, because you won't be able to pass that until after the election, because the income tax rate is going to be in that. When you see your version next week, it's going to say 1%, because that's the current income tax rate. We will amend that and change it to 2% if the income tax increase passes. But there's just a lot in there, Mayor. It's just,
Let's get the 12 days to 21 days.
it's got
For
that,
transit.
just a lot of different things that you'll have the pleasure of reading about just as I did. And, you know, I'll have to read it a few more times. Like I said, I've got some more final editing to do, so it's a large document, but I mainly wanted to know if you wanted electronic versions of that. Okay?
All right, thanks, Tom. Anybody have anything else in old business?
Recycle.
Thank you.
We love you.
Harry.
All right, any new business?
Recycle.
All right, does anybody have any questions for us about anything we discussed this evening? Yes, sir?
Mr. Mayor, you mentioned about the safety committee, New Franklin Safety Committee to pass the income tax
Yes.
program. You mentioned donations. Where do people send those donations?
You can bring them to me or anybody here at Friends of New Franklin.
Friends of New Franklin.
Friends for New Franklin Safety, that's what it
Okay.
is. We bring them right here.
Okay.
You know, Terry's the treasurer, so he's not running this year, so we thought it'd be good. Well, he is.
He is running this year.
And we're running against us. Yep, we're right here, thanks. And that's Jim Cox, by the way, for the record.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? All right, I don't see, we don't have no need for an executive session tonight.
No.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, our next meeting will be October 7th. It's actually, yes?
Did we have number 15 yet?
Yeah, that's what we just did.
I didn't have a question.
Okay, we'll
Go far away.
go ahead.
Go back up.
Ron Leonard again. And a question for Councilwoman Norris. I believe at the September 2nd meeting, did you propose that there be another meeting with the Suffolk County woman that was in charge of the septic system?
Caroline.
Well, what we had discussed is should we have another meeting? We decided then, after that meeting, to allow people some time to contact the Summit County Department. We decided that we would allow time to find out what they were doing with the funds that they collected. If you remember, they really didn't have a budget yet because the monies haven't been received, they haven't been dispersed. So we thought we would delay any future meeting until we see what the need was in the community, until more information and the program had been better implemented, or implemented.
I was a bit confused because they were planning to have the septic system companies do the inspections, and now it's going to be some of the counties going to do the inspections, so I'm a little
Okay.
loop as far as what they
Okay.
were proposing.
And I do believe she said, there's other people who will be certified to do them, and you can pick your own.
And certify yourself.
You can certify yourself if you want to be, and do your own testing.
But you can use the septic companies also.
Yep. There was a bunch of options. It was not just the septic companies or Summit County.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.